Hi, I'm Mark.
And I'm Valerie, and we're at my home.
So today we're in our kitchen because we just got through retrofitting our ceiling lights. And as a matter of fact, we also changed the bulbs in our pendant, and we'll talk about those in a minute. But basically, what happened was we had these fluorescent lights in the ceiling, and you can't change the light bulbs into LED bulbs. Well, we tried, right?
Yeah, we tried. It didn't
And
work so well.
yeah, and they would just burn out all the time. So we finally said, let's get our electrician out here. He took out the transformers and he converted them into these nice LED ceiling lights, right? Now the other thing is, these are really bright lights, and that's great, like for filming this thing here. It's great for when we cook, but in the evening it's not quite as nice, and we'd like to change the color of the bulbs, right? So what we did was we got something called Wise.
No, it's whiz.
Oh, Whiz. See, I always say the thing wrong. So what did we get? We got the Whiz lights.
We got the whiz lights. So these are Wi-Fi lights, and they come in both a tunable white and a full color LED that you can change the colors. And then we also got these really neat kind of old-fashioned amber lights for our pendant lights.
Yeah, so these are kind of nice because these are called downlights, and these downlights actually come with a long pigtail on it where you can screw it into the housing. So if you've got a can light here and it's got a light bulb in it, you can unscrew the light bulb, you can take these and you can screw this in their place, and you've now got these really cool lights, right? In our case, of course, as I mentioned, we had to get an electrician out here to rewire the thing, but once he did that, again, they just hooked right up and they work the same way, right? So the really nice thing though is we can change the color of the lights, and we're going to show you how that looks.
We already have some similar can lights that are made by Philips, and they're the Philips Hue bulbs. And they're really nice, but they are really expensive.
Like twice as much as these.
Twice as much as these Whiz lights. It turns out that Philips acquired this company, Whiz, and now these are actually Philips lights with the Whiz app.
Yeah. And they kind of work the same, except they're Wi-Fi instead of
Zigbee.
Zigbee, right? The hookup is pretty easy to pair them up. Let me show you how the pairing went. When you pair up the lights, be sure to use the manual pairing. We tried the automatic pairing and it just didn't work. From the home screen, select the plus key in the upper right corner. Select Light, enter your SSID and password, select Manual Pairing. Then you will need to toggle your light switch 3 times to get the light into pairing mode. Be sure to wait for the pulsating light before the next step. It does matter. Now, go to your settings for Wi-Fi and select the Whiz Config network. Then, back to the app, which will start the process. It will display a few messages on the progress and then shows all done. That's it. The light icon should pop up on the home panel. Now, you can change its name to what you want. Just click on the lights icon and click the gear icon near the bottom right. Enter your name and you're done. Okay, so we have gone through and paired a light, and actually I've already paired all the lights in here. And as you can see here in the app, we set up a room called the kitchen. And in the kitchen, I put 7 lights, these 7 lights, and these 2 pendant lights. And they're all in the kitchen. And anything we do in the kitchen when they're all turned on here, it will affect all of them. So for example, I can come in and say, oh, I want to make them a warm white. And what happens is all the lights turn warm white together. I can do other things as well. I can make them daylight. I can make them daylight and it switches back. I can make them cozy, so that kind of dims them down a lot.
Well, that's cozy.
It's cozy, huh? So, and there's other things I can do as well. I can even do pulse, but pulse is kind of obnoxious, so
Yeah,
I don't think
that.
we want to do the pulse.
Oh,
And there's a thing called wake up. Now wake up's neat because what wake up will do is wake up will kind of start out low and then increase in time, or increase in intensity over time. So a bunch of different options I can do, all from the menu here to the whole room. Now I can also turn them off and turn them on, and I can put them on night mode. The other thing I can do is I can actually change the intensity right from these sliders. So I can make them 5,000 Kelvin all the way down to 2,000 Kelvin. So you can see there's a full range of color. And then if I make them real bright here, I can also dim them. So I can dim the whole group together, which is nice, right? So that's kind of how that works. I'll leave it all super bright. But the other thing I can do is I can actually deal with one light at a time. Now I can control them individually. So what I can do here is I can go into the setup, and if you look at it, you can name it. You can change the icon. Well, I guess the icon is like a down light, so I don't think I would change it. Obviously, it's made by Philips. It's the Philips Whiz. Hope I got the name right. I always have trouble with that name. And the other thing you can do, I think is kind of interesting in here, is you can do what's called fade in and fade out. And what that means is when we turn the light off, it'll take its time shutting off and then time coming back on. So we can change the room, so I could move the light from the kitchen to the master bedroom, for example. Actually, master bathroom it's called. All right. So that's a bunch of things you can do with a light. You can change all sorts of parameters with it. Okay, so that's that one there. There's another, we have one light, the color. Which one's the color?
The color.
The color. The color one is sitting in our bathroom above the tub. So I called it the spotlight.
Nice.
Yeah. So we can change the spotlight if we want by just clicking on it. The other thing you can do is you can set up scenes. And if you look here, we have two scenes. One's called Daylight Kitchen and one's called Night Kitchen. So we can say listen to me. I can press the button here and it will run Night Kitchen, that scene. And I can come over here and I can press the Daylight Kitchen and it makes it nice and bright. So that's pretty nice, right? It works out pretty easy. I can also add it to Siri, so I can make it a Siri shortcut. I can give it a name when I say something on Siri, like I could say something along the lines of Whiz Daylight. And then you say add to Siri. And now I should be able to do it with Siri. You think it'll work?
We'll try it.
Hey Siri, Whiz Daylight.
Okay.
Ooh,
Setting
it
using
worked.
Wiz.
All right, so that's pretty cool, right?
very fast,
Using with
yeah.
Siri. So, but it's a Siri shortcut. It's not HomeKit.
Right.
Okay. All right. What else do we have here? So that's kind of the scoop of the scenes. And I have one for the master bathroom as well for the color light as well. All right. But the other cool thing we can do is called circadian rhythm. So there's this rhythm kind of thing. I can come in the kitchen and I can say, oh, I'd like to have the circadian rhythm. Well, what that means is, let me go into edit. It means that at 7 o'clock in the morning, it'll make the lights really bright. And at 11 o'clock at night, it'll make them kind of low, really like the cozy low lights. And so if I save this away, what's going to happen is we're going to go back to circadian rhythm. I'm going to turn it off and then I'm going to turn it on. So I turn on the circadian rhythm and you see what happens is it turned the light to where it is this evening, because what is it now?
It's about
9 o'clock, 9:37 it says on my phone. So at 9:37 we're way over in the yellow zone, so the lights have gotten kind of yellow, right? And this happens all day. So even if we turn the lights off with the wall switch, the next time we turn on the lights, it'll remember what position it was in or what color it was in. So let's say it was in daylight. But let's say we turn the lights on at 9 o'clock at night, like now, right? What'll happen is the lights will come on bright, and then circadian rhythm will take over in about 10, 15 seconds and turn it to whatever the color is it should be, so that you can have a nice bright light during the day, and then as the evening progresses, it gets mellower. Nice, right?
That's nice. It's automatic no matter how many times we turn the light on and off during the day.
Yeah, so it works out pretty well. So the other thing I can do is I can set a schedule. So there's one here called Good Morning, and you can do the normal things you would do on a schedule, like set the time, set the days of the week, set the action, like what do you want it to do? Like I can make it a wake-up looking light or whatever I want to have. So you can create a lot of schedules like that if you want to. I don't think we're going to use it myself.
Well, especially because we have a smart switch, so unless the switch is powered on, these schedules aren't going to work.
The other thing is settings, and the reason I want to bring up settings is a few nice features in settings. So your current home, so you can actually put the Whiz lights in different homes if you want to. You can define the rooms here. You can get to each individual light. So if I want to go like a kitchen light number 4 and adjust all of its settings, I can do that from the settings screen. You can say members, so I could invite Valerie, for example, to run with the app. All right, and then they have integrations, and this is really interesting because you can integrate it with Google, you can integrate it with Alexa, we've done that. You can integrate with IFTTT and with SmartThings. So those are kind of the normal things that we tend to use, right? You can integrate it with that. And then they have these other 4, which I've never heard of before. So we won't go through that here, but those 4 are there. So if you're watching this video and those 4 mean something to you, leave us a comment. I'd like to know.
Yeah, I'd like to know what those are.
It'd be kind of neat. All right. And then there's energy consumption. So this is pretty neat. So I can actually see we've used in the last 4 weeks 90.99 kilowatt hours. So not very much in this thing. And you can look at it from a weekly basis if you want and see the usage of the power that's being used by these lights. That's pretty neat.
I mean, we really only have these in the kitchen and one in the master bathroom. But if we had a lot more Wiz lights in our house, it would be telling us how the energy is throughout the house.
Yeah. Now the other thing is you can sign into an account. So if you load up the Wiz app and you set everything up like we've done here, and you don't sign in somehow, either through Apple, Google, Facebook, or Yandex, it won't remember anything if you kind of lose the app, so if you switch your phone. So you definitely want to sign in through one of them. And you notice it doesn't use email, so it's totally doing it through Facebook or whatever
It's kind of nice because then we don't have to create yet another account, remember, yet another password, and yet another company that could get hacked. So
and they can't get at our stuff.
They can't get our stuff, so that's really nice.
And what's nice about that is that if you do have to change it, let's say you have to put it on a different phone or whatever, you won't lose your settings. It'll remember the settings and put them in there. Okay, so the other thing is, the last thing is sharing analytic data, and I can't believe I have it on. I don't normally turn these on, so...
So is that telling Wiz how our lights are doing?
It tells us, they know when we're having breakfast and we're eating dinner, so it's pretty neat.
Well, they must think that it's a pretty crazy day today.
The other thing they have is a chat with us, and I've actually been using a chat with us when I couldn't get something to work right, and they're very responsive all day long. And if you put it in the chat, then what happens is, let's say I put something in right now and there's no one there, and then 3 or 4 hours from now they go into the chat and do it. It'll be in here when next time I come to the app. I don't have to have a chat window open up that doesn't work. You know how normally they go away, then you're out of luck.
That's great.
So, and then there's a thing called power outage recovery. Now that's good if you don't have your lights on a switch. So we have our lights on a switch. And now here's what happens with power outage recovery. If I have that on, what it says is, oh, if you have a power failure, like you turn off the light switch, when you turn the light switch back on, don't turn on the lights. Well, because if you're away, you don't want the lights turning on. Now, we happen to use a wall switch to turn the lights on and off because it kind of makes life a little easier for us. And it's actually one of the few times where we think it's actually good to have smart bulbs and a wall switch. And we want them to come back on to whatever they were on, right?
Right.
So that's kind of the scoop of that. So the last thing I think we probably should do is we probably should show everybody what it's like to use it with Alexa.
Okay, sounds good.
So let's take a look with Alexa what happens. So let's see, what's the first thing? We got bright lights now. So Alexa, oh wait a minute, Alexa's over here. Oh, she's listening. Alexa, evening kitchen. And so she makes it nice, very dim light, all the lights dimmed up, right? But let's say it's the morning and I'd like to have the morning set up. So Alexa, morning kitchen. And she turns everything back on. But now it's the evening and I want to start cooking dinner. And I'd like all my lights on in the kitchen. So Alexa, cooking lights. And you'll notice, not only were the switches turned on for these lights and they were put in daylight mode, but the under counter lights and our range hood light went on. And then finally, it's the evening. I don't want those lights on. So what I'm going to do is say, Alexa, evening kitchen. And she turns off that, makes all the lights nice and dim. And that's pretty much it. So we have Wiz scenes that you have to say turn on with. And we also have routines in Alexa that say, oh, turn on these light switches and then turn the lights a certain color.
Yeah.
And the commands are a little different to Alexa when you do that. But as you can see, it works really well.
Yeah, it works great. I really like it. I love the fact that we can have different kinds of light during the day. I especially love the circadian rhythm feature.
Yes, because at this hour of the night, it's kind of nice, right?
It is.
Yeah. So, all right, I think that wraps it.
So thanks for watching our video today. We've included more information about the products we reviewed, including links where to buy in the description box below. And while you're there, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you can see our next video.
And for more smart home stories, visit appmyhome.com. Thank you.
Thank you.